hopeful friends. I'm Della Lavers from Court of Hope, Cornwall. Welcome to my channel. It's time for Stitch With Me 2025, which I'm doing along with Daniela Mellon. This month's prompt is quilt. If you've been following my channel, you know I'm making a Pinkerwing Cornwall quilt, and I now have lots and lots of scraps. And you know I don't throw scraps away. I don't throw anything away. So I've decided that this month I'm going to make a crazy quilt block. Lots of little bits. I do have some much bigger pieces which I'm going to be using hopefully in the coming months for Stitch With Me, because I want to keep this to the Pinkerwing Cornwall or Pinkerwing theme. So I don't want to use any big pieces for this. I could quite easily have done so many different patchwork blocks. There's so many out there. But I thought, well, I could use the tiny little bits in a crazy quilt. The other thing is, if you've been watching me, you know I don't like raw edges. I'm going to get over myself this month and just place the scraps next to each other and do crazy quilt seams without turning them under, so it's not too bulky. So let's see how we get on. Well, that was fun. I'm still not liking the raw edges, but we'll see how I get on with those. So what I need to do next is pin these in place, and then I'm going to roughly tack them down so I can embroider over them. I think I'll start with the middle one and work my way around. And I've realised I've got my really scruffy cardigan on because it's not very warm in here. This is not one that I wear when I go out. I'm just keeping cosy. It's been a beautiful Cornish day, spring day here, but it's the evening now, so it's a little bit chilly, and I just grabbed my old faithful cardigan. Right, I don't think you want to see me pin all of those down, so I'll see you in a minute. That's all pinned approximately in place. Oh, I think I need another one there. So, and I'm just going to tack it down probably in a grid line, just to make sure it's held down properly. And this is just some old thread. It is old, so I don't know how strong it's going to be. And I'm going to settle down in front of the television with Mr. L and tag my grid lines, and then tomorrow I can start on the pretty bit, the embroidery. We had a lovely evening watching the television together, nice and cosy, while I tacked or basted these on. Now I thought originally I would have to do a crisscross, like a grid, but just these vertical lines are enough because they're all going to come out anyway. I still don't like raw edges though. Take two. Mr. L was being quite noisy with the coffee maker, so I just stopped filming. I'm not sure where I am now. Never mind. The next thing I'm going to do is sort through all my pretty bits and bobs. I have some pure silk ribbon, lots of embroidery thread, floss, of course my gold and black Madeira threads. I've got some very fine tulle here, pink. Oh, that reminds me, I've got some black. Let's get that out. And of course I have my pink buttons that I've been saving up, reclaimed from other projects. I think I might start by laying down some of this ribbon to cover up my raw seams that I can't stand. and then embroider over those. So I think I'll do a couple of those first. And I know I have some more trimmings. I don't know what that was from, but it's not silk ribbon, but it's satin. It's very pretty, and that can go over another seam. And of course I've got black because it's Pinkaween. Not quite sure what to do with this. I might cover something over, one of the darker ones maybe, and do some French knots. But I don't know how much of this I'm going to film because I like to sit in my comfortable chair next to my husband and do some sewing. It's the evening again, so I shall make a start. I'll come back when I've done a few. Well, this has been lots of fun. Not very neat, but I don't mind. This is a crazy quilt, and I haven't done crazy quilting before, so it's never going to be perfect the first time. So I've used lots of bits and pieces. This gold is actually wire. It's almost like pipe cleaner material. I don't think it is. Sort of Christmas decoration, but I just snipped a piece off and overstitched that. I've used some silk ribbon there and there, my gold Madeira thread, some DMC pale pink embroidery floss, and there, that's some black Madeira, and my cat has come to help, so if you hear the pitter patter of paws, that's him. And my favourite one so far is I've used some beads, some little seed beads along there, so I'm really enjoying that. So I'm going to do some more of that. Now, do you remember yesterday or the day before, I was wondering what to do with this very fine tulle, and I've had an idea. I haven't tried it yet, so I don't know if it's going to work. I thought I'll be brave and do it under camera. So I'm going to cut a long strip, and I'm going to have to stop because I have no idea what the cat is doing. Well, he's still under my feet, so he's not doing anything naughty, he's just being noisy. So I folded this up a little bit, and I'm going to cut about 3/4 of an inch, what's that, about 1.5 centimetres strip, and then I think I'm going to gather this first with some thread. I have some pink thread, 663 Gutermann polyester. I'm going to gather that first and then lay that down and maybe put some beads or some French knots over it. So I'll do that off camera and we'll see how we get on, but I like the idea. I might need more than one strip, so I'll let you know. I've just finished that. I've just done a very simple running stitch with a single thread, and it started out at 21 inches long, which is about 50 centimetres, and now I want it to fit along this seam, which is, I'll do it in inches, 3.5, just over 3.5. So I need to make this thread 3.5 inches. And just pull it up. And this has given me flashbacks to over 40 years ago when I used to be a ballroom competitor, a ballroom dance competitor. And in those days, we wore what they call the teacup dresses. Well, they didn't call them that then, they were just ballroom dresses. It's what they call them now. Very sticky out. And of course, I used to make my own dresses. I'll see if I can find a photograph and put that in. Yards and yards and yards of net we had to gather. Oh, took weeks. There we are. That's about right. I think I'll pin it. Just to give me a rough idea of where it should be. And I can ease the gathers a little bit. Can always pull that a little bit more. I like that. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to baste or tack that back down again so it's in place properly. That's all tucked down now. I'm really pleased with that. It's very pretty. I do have some black tulle, but it's not really tulle. It's got that stiff net. Actually, this is what our dresses used to be made of. I don't know if it'll be as pretty, but I'll give it a go. I'll give that a go in a minute. I think it'll look nice, it just won't feel as nice, so I'll do that on another seam. But before I do any more, if you remember last month, I cut myself this aperture so that I could see exactly where I was going. So there is a line underneath, but obviously that's disappeared now. There are a couple of little gaps, so I'm going to draw my line again. I don't want the beading to be inside the seam because when I fold it over at the end, it'll be very bulky, so I don't want that. And now I can see where to stop beading and where to stop adding trimmings. I think I'll have a little go at the black netting. I can always unpick it if I don't like it, and then I will put some beads or tiny buttons along the netting here. I've been working on this for quite a few hours now and thoroughly enjoyed it. I've certainly learned a lot about crazy quilting and what you should and shouldn't do. I did use the black net. It looks okay, but it is quite stiff. Not as nice as this, but it looks pretty. I've done my tag quilt, and I just did it in single thread. I don't know why. All the others have had two strands, but that doesn't matter. I think I've just got these two seams or one seam, depending what I do with it, and then a couple of little bits to tidy up here. I'm quite pleased with that. I shall come back when that's finished. I think I've just about finished now. I've added some diamantes that I had from an old shoe from many years ago that I've been keeping for something or other. And a little bit up there. A little bit of embroidery just to fill in some gaps. What I didn't say last time is that they actually look lilac in the video. But these are blue beads. Remember I said last month I wanted to add just a little bit of blue to signify that men can also get breast cancer. This year's Pinkoween will be pink with a little bit of blue. And if you've been watching my other videos, you know that I made a little frame just to photograph a little bit nicer, and the hexagon, and also from my 100-day project. Thoroughly enjoyed this, learnt a lot. Not done a crazy quilt before. I've certainly learnt what not to do. Glaringly obvious when I look at this, but it's not going in a competition or anything like that. So it's just for me, and it was lots of fun. So looking forward to finding out next month's prompt from Daniela. Meanwhile, stay hopeful. Bye.